Well, hello everybody. Thank you for tuning into UpNorthLive Unscripted here at 6:30. I'm Nicole Long, filling in for Maya Engel, who's taking a very much needed vacation right now. So just gonna fill in for her for just today on this lovely Friday. And to tell us how lovely this Friday is, I'm gonna bring in our meteorologist, Joe Charlevoix, to tell us a little bit about what the weather's been like and if, I don't know, maybe this weekend we might see some sunshine, maybe some clouds. I've heard we've been getting some rain.
Yeah, it's been last 3-4 days we've had rain. It seems like every day. Well, we have for spots. Interesting night tonight though. So if it's still early Friday. What is it? 6:30 here.
Yep.
If you have plans this evening, we're actually going to clear the skies out completely tonight.
All
A lot
right.
of stars, but it's going to be deceiving, Nicole, because rain's going to roll right back in here tomorrow. It won't be a heavy rain, but it's going to be a wet day coming up tomorrow. So I point that out because a lot of folks, have weekend plans.
Yeah. But beautiful night for stargazing.
Yeah, tonight will be once we get these clouds out of here in the next couple of hours. But I'll be back with the forecast. We'll look ahead. And next week, too, a little bit of a warm-up on the way for the area. So we'll talk more about that a little later in the show, Nicole.
All right. Thanks, Joe. We'll see you in a couple minutes. All right. And I'm going to pull up our question of the day right now. Our question today: have you or someone you know been a victim of identity theft? This comes kind of in relation to our main story that we're going to be talking about in just a minute or two here with some new car scams that's going on. Mark Chalette did a story on that we will watch in just a second. But have you or someone you know been a victim of identity theft? 66% of you said yes, 34% said no. And just taking a look at some of our comments from Facebook here, Tim said it was and has been the worst experience of his life. To this day, he still doesn't have all the answers. He's been fighting it for the last 2 years. Sorry that's happening to you, Tim. His credit is finally back in good standing after defending himself against companies like Best Buy, Goodyear, Samsung, and others. Bridget also said she's known several people whose identity has been stolen. She ran into a hacker online years ago, and all of our information is out there. She says banks, insurance companies, government offices, and employers are all constantly getting hacked. So it seems like it has been a problem so far. And I know this story that we are about to watch, Mark Chalette did, it is on car theft specifically and kind of how that's been impacting dealerships here, because it's kind of a little bit easier, a little bit harder to find these hackers and scammers and try to get to the bottom of things and help people who have been scammed. So I'm going to play this package for you guys real quick, and then afterwards we will kind of break things down further with Mark.
Business for 99.9% of the time.
Mike McFarland's been in the car business a long time. Over the past 40 years, he's probably seen it all. The good, and lately, a new form of the bad.
This last week we had one that was a close call.
It is a scam that targets car dealers.
They indicate an interest in getting the car. They give us name, address, phone number, email.
And electronically, this buyer expressed interest in buying a car off the lot and having it delivered to an off-site location.
They will then submit a credit application. And along the way, we're doing our due diligence as well. We're asking a lot of questions.
Questions because more and more often these so-called online buyers aren't actually who they say they are. They've stolen someone's identity to get the deal done. That someone ends up being on the hook for the purchase, while the scam artist gets the car. But here at Sarah, they've gotten pretty good at catching the red flags.
Most of it is just scrutinizing the deal and asking a lot of whys.
Because if they don't catch the scammers, there's a long list of victims.
The dealership, the person whose name is on all the paperwork, and potentially the lender.
While dealerships have their radar up, so do lenders.
Absolutely. This is something that has been on the rise for a long time.
Amy Breckel is on the fraud committee at Forest Area Federal Credit Union. She's an expert on keeping folks safe when it comes to their finances.
The best thing to do is pay attention to that credit report, that credit score.
The scammers try to use your credit to get the car. So if you monitor your credit inquiries, you would know if something was up, and you can proactively protect yourself even more.
We recommend that you can lock all three credit bureaus, your social security number within all three credit bureaus.
Locking your credit makes it impossible for the financing paperwork to go through, and it stops the scam in its tracks.
We also have it's called ID theft protection. It's a service that we provide, and it's an outside company that monitors your social security number, any current, things that are reporting in on your credit score. It tells you, if anything new has come in.
Lenders and dealers are well aware of the online car scam, but you may not be yet. In this scam, the victims don't even know they're being used. So trying to stay one step ahead is all the more critical. Mark Shillette reporting.
Sorry, we were bringing in Mark Shillette. Now further break down this, and it's so fitting, Mark. You're in your car right now, not driving, of course.
I'm not driving, and I bought this car using my own identity.
That's
So
great knowledge.
But what car dealers are seeing is they're seeing this scam pop up all across northern Michigan. It's happening all across the country. More and more people are getting their new car or trying to by stealing someone's identity and going through that process.
Yeah, and so, it's a nationwide problem, but are we seeing it here in northern Michigan specifically?
We are. The dealers I spoke to said, oh, yeah, it happens not infrequently. And in fact, there was a case out of Leelanau County where a woman actually was going to be a victim. Her identity had been stolen and someone had filed the paperwork to buy a car downstate from that. So it is happening, and it is one of those things where we should probably be taking the proactive steps to keep ourselves from becoming the next victim.
Yeah, exactly. And so what are some of the things that dealerships are doing to kind of be more proactive?
Well, there are lots of things. It's kind of like they don't want to give away too many of their secrets. The dealerships don't, because then, obviously the scam artists try to stay one step ahead and figure out the way around it. One of the things that a lot of the dealerships are doing is, though, they require you to take a selfie with your driver's license.
Okay.
So you would have the proof of the driver's license and the proof of the selfie, which seems like, okay, that should catch some people. In some of these cases, though, clearly these are Photoshops. And in some of these cases, the people have actually Photoshopped the picture of the driver's license. So we go to the, Secretary of State, get our picture taken.
Yeah.
They then will pull the picture of the license and have that be the image behind the person holding the camera. So they don't have a picture of the victim, but they'll use the photo. So a lot of Photoshopping, a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
Mike, who we spoke to at Sarah, said they really just ask a lot of questions. And sometimes if the deal seems odd, like, why is this person from Oklahoma trying to buy this used car when there's a million of these used cars closer to Oklahoma? So it's just some of these suspicious red flags, they just kick into high gear and ask and ask and ask a lot of questions. And there are obviously steps that they can go through, call employers, do the background checks, do the pull credit score. So there are things that they can do to try to nip these in the bud, but it's definitely on their radar.
Yeah. And so what kind of makes this scam particularly dangerous? I know you were saying, employers have information, the car dealerships have information, but why is this so, eye-opening?
I think the thing that caught my attention about this is so many times, and we report on a lot of scams, and oftentimes somebody may not be aware that they're involved in the scam, but they're a participant, like we've seen the call of, oh, your grandson is in jail. You need to send us $200 worth of, gift cards in order to get him out, kind of thing like that. So you're at least involved in it. I think I lost you there for a minute. There are more. The thing about this scam that's so unusual is you don't know you're a victim. Somebody stole your identity and has run down this path, and you have no idea it's happening. And that's why we have to be proactive. We can't just have it be on our radar and say, like, oh, this seems suspicious. It doesn't seem anything because they've stolen your identity. You're not involved as the victim at all until maybe it's too late.
Yeah. And so what do people do with these cars, by the way, when they finally, buy them, rent them, what have you? Where do these cars end up?
I actually didn't hear any of that. So I don't know if your microphone died or my microphone died, but really, so I'm just going to make up what the question was. So the answer is this. think about locking your credit score. That's one of the best things that we can do. And you basically call the 3 credit agencies that generate credit scores, and you can put a lock on it. And it's a lock for inquiries. So essentially, if you go and, or if a scam artist goes and apply for a loan, they're going to run the credit, the inquiry is going to come back, and it's going to be denied. So that kind of nips it in the bud. The only caveat to that, or the word of warning, is if you legitimately then go and try to apply for a credit card or a loan of some sort, you do have to lift that lock. But that may be a small inconvenience for the amount of protection that provides.
All
And I
right.
still
Well,
can't hear you, but I have to, since this is unscripted, I have to sidetrack the show for a minute because my mom said she was going to be at home watching tonight. And she said, shoot me a wink if you can. Okay, well, this is my mom. So, Mom, you don't get a wink. I love you, Mom. I hope you have a great night tonight. Be safe, and I'll be in touch when I'm not in the car with you.
all right. Well, we will let Mark go since he can't hear us anymore. So let's say bye to
All
Mark.
right.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Nicole. Have a great evening.
And let's pull up our question of the day one more time. Have you or someone you know been a victim of identity theft? And kind of to go back and answer my own question that I asked and Mark did here. What do people do with these cars that they, buy with stolen identities? I was talking to Mark before the show, just kind of seeing what questions he was most interested about or what topics he was most interested about. And he was telling me that usually when people buy cars with stolen identities, they just end up back out on the market. They just resell them and they kind of go out into the car dealership space and they just kind of lose them. And so that is kind of, the answer to the question that Mark didn't hear. But going back to the question of the day, have you or someone you know been a victim of identity theft? 64% still say yes, 36% still say no. And I believe we have about 30-something people who have answered this. So thank you so much. And if you still want to answer, there is time. You can just kind of scan the QR code on your screen right now, or you can head to our website, UpNorthLive.com, or any of our social media pages to answer this question of the day. But we will take a break right now, and when we come back, we will talk with Chief Meteorologist Joe Charlevoix about what we are seeing in our weather this weekend. Will it be sunny, rainy, maybe a little bit of both? But we will check back in just a couple minutes. You are currently watching Up North Live Unscripted. All right, welcome back to UpNorthLive Unscripted here at 6:30. I'm not going to bring in Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Joe Charlevoix for our weather here. Joe,
Hi,
how's it
Nicole.
going?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I know we just saw each other like a couple minutes ago, but
we did. We're in separate rooms down the hall. That's right.
yeah, so close yet so far.
Yep. The weekend, looking ahead here, not bad. I mean, I don't want to sugarcoat it. It's going to rain tomorrow, but it'll be a lighter rain. And then I think, maybe a few showers on Sunday too. Next week, though, we get back to some dry weather finally and a little bit of a warm up coming up.
All right. I know we were talking at the beginning of the show, and I'm just an astronomy nerd, but you were saying, the clouds are going to clear out later tonight for maybe some pretty good stargazing.
Yeah, we're hoping for that. By the way, I have a question for you. It's weather related.
Okay.
You grew up in Phoenix.
I did.
It's 110 there today.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, and I always wondered this because I grew up in the UP. How did you deal with all that heat? And I don't care if they say, oh, it's a dry heat. It's still 110 degrees.
No. It is a dry heat is definitely so much worse. And you can probably tell I'm pale, and I've always been pale.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lot of family out on the East Coast. And when I used to visit them in the summertime, they'd always be like, Nicole, why are you so pale? Like, you live in Arizona. Don't you go out and tan and stuff? And honestly, the way that we deal with the heat is just by staying inside.
That makes sense. I mean, I get that.
Avoiding it, like, in general. And it's such a big difference. And maybe, some people who are snowbirds up here have dealt with this who live part-time in Arizona. But the difference in the heat from, like, when you stand in the shade to the actual sunlight is drastically different.
Oh, I can imagine. So that's why when I show you this here, Nicole, the temperatures, I don't know if you can pull those in. Let me know if you can see those and have them up.
There we go.
Does that look a little better than 110?
Oh, absolutely. That's what I moved up here for.
Yeah, it's low and mid 70s, which in and of itself is, or on low and mid 70s is normal, I should say. These are the current readings. We're coming in about 10 to 15 degrees below normal today.
Mm-hmm.
There is cloud cover overhead right now. Here's what that looks like. But the thought right now is if you look upstream, up and through here, it's fairly clear, actually.
Okay.
So we should get rid of these clouds overnight tonight. But out west, well, there's more rain and a few thunderstorms right out here. You can see those in Nebraska. In fact, I'm going to zoom in. Look at these storms here in central Nebraska tonight.
Yeah.
Some pretty intense storms. We're not going to get anything like that, but we are going to get this little disturbance heading toward us. And so here's kind of what we expect. Cloudy right now a little bit. We're going to clear out. Look at that. Nice and clear later tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Very early tomorrow, the sun's going to be out. But then here's what happens. We get rain coming in. This looks worse than it will be. This will be a lighter rain, but a lighter, steadier rain, certainly possible late morning through the afternoon and evening tomorrow. Right in through there. And then Sunday, we'll get rid of that system, and then a few showers will still hang around into Sunday. You can see a few of these right there. But the rain amounts, as I mentioned, will be on the lighter side. There's tomorrow, 1 to 2/10 of an inch of rain should be about it. And as we look at the extended forecast, there's the showers over the weekend, the rain tomorrow. But look at Monday. That's nice. Sunshine.
Yeah, that's a great way to start your week.
Mm-hmm. And then we're going to warm up later next week. And as we warm up and the humidity rises, chance for a shower or a thunderstorm later next week. But after, some 50s and 60s now, it looks a little warmer a little bit later in the week, Nicole, next week.
Yeah, pretty good start to the work week, and then kind of we'll go from there.
Yeah, we'll go from there.
Well, thank you, Joe, for giving us our lovely Northern Michigan weather that it's kind of so hard to predict, but appreciate it here.
Mm-hmm.
I will let you get back to things over in the studio, but thank you again, Joe.
All right.
All right. And we will take another break here. I will put back up the question of the day. And coming up after this next break, we will check in with Harrison Beebe, who is out in the field right now at a Pittsburghers game, which is pretty beautiful considering I think yesterday it was raining for him there. But I will put up this question of the day and we will check back in just a couple minutes. All right, welcome back to Up North Live Unscripted here at 6:30. It's time to check in with Harrison Beebe, who is currently out in the field right now on his way or maybe at a Pittsburgh's game. But hi, Harrison, how's it going?
Nicole, yeah, that's an interesting way to describe where I am. I'm right off of 31 South here by Chum's Corner. Those are cars waiting to just pull off the main road to get to Pittsburgh Stadium, which is still about a quarter mile even on this side road until you can get to the parking lot. So it's going to be a little bit until I actually get into the stadium, but I knew my hit was coming up here on Unscripted, so I had to pull over to the side. And while I'm watching these cars, I'll still wait, and I'll be joining them back in line in a few minutes. That's how popular the Pittsburghers are right now to go to the game tonight. The line is literally out to the main road to get into the stadium, and first pitch is like 5 minutes from now. So it should be a big crowd. I know it was kind of raining last night, and the Pittsburghers lost, so looks like they're going to have a bit of a rejuvenated night here on a Friday. And who doesn't like a Friday in the summer at the ballpark, checking on the boys? And that's our situation tonight here at Turtle Creek Stadium.
Yeah, fingers crossed, and of course, it's Firework Friday. Gotta catch those lights after the game, regardless of who wins or loses.
Yep.
But another thing you talked about today is rugby. I know in your Jimmy John Sports Corner last week, you talked with some of the guys on, I believe it's the All-Stars rugby team.
The Alliance.
Right?
The Alliance.
Alliance.
Yes.
Right.
You
goes to show you how much I listen.
Yeah, you gave it your all to try and guess what that name was. This is the Traverse City Alliance. Yes, they won the state championship last night for the club sport. Pretty cool. They've been trying to do it for 2 years now. There they are with the trophy. 14-5 winners over Detroit Catholic Central in that championship game last night. And I know from talking to the guys last week, they were super excited about that opportunity. They've come up short the last few years, and they finally got it done. So big congrats to the TC Alliance on winning the first high school rugby state championship for Traverse City.
Yeah, and I feel like this is kind of a pretty big accolade for them to get because last year they came pretty close.
Yep, they've been in the finals the last 2 years and fell short. So this was definitely, they thought they had the right group to do it this year. And as we can see with that trophy, they got the job done.
Well, thank you so much, Harrison. I will let you get back into that line so you can catch some Pittsburgh's highlights later tonight at 11. But thanks for joining us on
Thanks, Cole.
I'll let you go. But all right, we will take one more break here. I will put back up the question of the day. And after that, we will come right back after this break. All right, and just checking back in on our question of the day one more time. Have you or someone you know been a victim of identity theft? This comes after one of our top stories tonight talking about car identity thefts and kind of the importance of that. 63% now say yes and 37% say no. And there is still time to vote. You can just head to our Up North Live Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube page, or you can scan the QR code on your screen right now. But that's going to do it for us on today's edition of Up North Live Unscripted. Thank you so much. I'm Nicole Long, filling in for Maya Engel. She'll be back on Monday for Monday's Up North Live Unscripted. But for now, we're going to head on out. Thanks for tuning in.